Now here's what's called a one-line diagram of a typical utility system. These lines represent the main lines called feeders that run down the main streets. Typically these have 3 wires and big switches like these on them. Now these switches don't measure currents or voltages, don't do any processing, and don't communicate with anything. If you want to operate them, you need to go out and open and close them manually. Now you'll notice that some of these devices are shown on the diagram as closed and colored red, while others are open and shown in green. Now this system includes 5 substations that provide power to the main feeders. Each feeder is color-coded to match the color of the substation from which it's drawing power. This feeder is going to have a short circuit at this location, and we will see how the old grid deals with it. As we do that, we'll keep track of the elapsed time in minutes, the number of customers without power at any point in time, and the cumulative minutes that customers have been out of service. We will also track an index called SAIDI, which stands for the System Average Interruption Duration Index, which tracks the number of minutes the average customer is out of power. The SAIDI index, therefore, is equal to the cumulative minutes of interruption divided by the number of customers, which on our feeder is 2,000. Now, when the fault occurs, the upstream circuit breaker will open to interrupt the short circuit. It then closes back in, hoping that the short circuit is transient. But in this case, it isn't, and the circuit breaker locks open. Now, once that happens, people start going to their phones to call the utility and tell them what's going on, which is helpful to the utility because, in the old grid, that's how the utility establishes the scope of the outage and helps them identify the device that's at the head of it. Now, once they know that, they can dispatch a crew in a truck, though the truck is going to have some trouble because the traffic lights are out, so it will take a little longer to get there. Now, once they do get there, they need to patrol the line. These lines are typically 15 to 20 miles in total length, so it takes quite a bit of driving around to figure out where the problem is. Certainly, if a car hits a pole, the ambulance lights could help, but otherwise you have to drive around, often in the dark, trying to find the problem. Now, once they have found the problem, they can call back to headquarters and tell them where the problem is and the nature of it. Headquarters then has to figure out how to isolate the problem, which is actually relatively easy, as it is only necessary to open all the switches around it. The difficult part is for headquarters to figure out how to get the power back on. So while they're isolating, they're worrying about where is there extra capacity in the substations and the lines that can pick up at least some of the customers who are out of power. Well, after some isolating's been done, headquarters figures that substation 4 does have some capacity and that the line can carry the power. So switch 17 can be closed to bring power back to the people in that segment of line, getting 666 customers back in business. So after 70 minutes, we're down to 1,334 customers without power, and we still haven't finished isolating the problem. So we need to open switch 35 to get that done. Meanwhile, headquarters has determined that substation 1 has enough capacity to pick up some customers, so they instruct the crew to drive over and close switch 2. Again, this represents about 666 more customers who can be brought back onto the system, getting us down to 668 customers still without power. Headquarters has also determined switch 36 can be closed to pick up another 334. With that done, we're down to 334 customers out of power. It's taken us over 100 minutes to restore power to all those who can have their service restored, and this is using very optimistic operating times.